Welcome to Essential Style. The Seiko SKX009 has been my go-to watch, basically my only real watch that I've been wearing for the past 4 or 5 years. I really enjoy this watch. I like the color of it. That Pepsi bezel is really nice. I like how it's automatic. You see how the second hand just kind of sweeps. It doesn't go tick, tick. It just kind of sweeps in a nice smooth motion like that. Really enjoyed wearing this watch. This is pretty much my one watch collection. I also have my Apple Watch and I have a couple of Timex Weekenders. I just have 2 Timex Weekenders that I bought a long time ago and I just pretty much hold on to them for spares. Seiko has since discontinued the SKX007, which is the all black version, and the 009, which is the blue and red Pepsi version. So you could probably still get some of these. Last I checked on Amazon, they're going for $1,000. Do not pay $1,000 for this watch. There are better options out there, please. I mean, if you want, I'll link it below, but this watch, in my opinion, it is not worth $1,000. Seiko actually came out with their Seiko 5 Sport line that we're gonna try out today, and this particular model is the SRPD 5.3. So they were nice enough to send this one over. All I had to do was pay them some money, and they sent it over pretty quick. Let's take a look at it. Right, I don't have a top-down mount yet, but let's take a look. This thing comes out. So there you go. That's what it looks like. It's a little bit less detail on the, I don't know what that is, on the face, the clicky thing. Feels pretty solid. Time is wrong, but that's okay. Bracelet's different as well. This is the stock bracelet. Oh, and check this out if you could see. You could actually see the movement back there. See it moving as I turn the watch? That's actually what makes the automatic watches, the watches with no batteries. There you go. So as you wear it, this is what makes the watches, this is what keeps the watches ticking. Seiko SKX009 in this hand, Seiko 5 in this hand. There's a lot more detail on the outside of the watch face on the SKX, but on the Seiko 5 you get a more plain version, probably more dressy. You can dress this up a bit better as well. The bracelets are different. This is the Jubilee bracelet, and this is, I think they call this the Oyster bracelet. I will say that the SKX does feel a bit heavier, but I also realized that I did change out the bracelet to a Miltat Jubilee strap code. I don't remember what it is. $100 for this bracelet. It's a lot more sturdy, and it also has, it's just a better bracelet overall. The other standard Jubilee bracelet that came with the SKX009 I wasn't really too fond of. But this one comes with a more plain bracelet. This bracelet, you could actually dress it up. So overall, this watch, from a formality standpoint, you can actually dress it up more. It is more versatile. Something else I noticed too is the color of the watch face on the SKX is just a very dull navy blue. The color on the watch face of the Seiko 5, the SRPD, the new one, Seiko 5 Sport watch, I think they call, I don't know what they call it. The color on the new SKX, let's call it, is a bit more of that dreamy blue. So that's something I really do like. I don't know if the camera is really able to pick up on that, but it's got that glow. It just looks a little bit more luxurious. This one, the new SKX, the Seiko 5 dive style watch, actually can probably be dressed up a lot more and can look better in more situations. So there are a couple of other differences between the new Seiko 5 that replaces the SKX. The first one is going to be water resistance. The SKX009 is rated to 200 meters water resistant. So this is actually like a real dive watch. Like you could actually take this and go diving. Seiko 5 dive watch is only rated for 100 meters. So this one's only rated for 300 feet while the SKX is actually rated for 600 feet. So you can still take this one in the pool and you could probably take it in the ocean as well. I wouldn't take it scuba diving. I wouldn't take either of these watches to the ocean or even a pool without putting a NATO strap on there, because what a NATO strap does is if one of these end links fails, the watch isn't going to fall. It basically gives you 2 point of failures. I don't have a NATO strap here, or I'd show you, but basically the watch will just sit there and flap like that. Actually, let me get another watch and I'll show you what I'm talking about. And this is one of my Timex Weekenders, and it has a leather style NATO strap. So it threads through both of I forgot what these things called, the end links. But let's make believe one of these spring end links, they're springs, let's make believe they failed. This is what you'd be left with if one of them failed. You have 2 points of failure with the NATO strap. So if one of those end links fails, the watch will just flap around like that, and this will still be around your wrist. Whereas if you actually just use a non-NATO strap, or something that doesn't have any failure, if one of these end links fail, the whole watch just falls off, and then that's it. So I would not wear either one of these watches the way that they are in the pool or in the ocean. You can wear them in the pool, but then it's going to be a pain to go dive down to the 6 foot, 10 foot, however deep the pool is, to go retrieve it. Just safer if you're planning on actually wearing these watches in the pool, just throw a NATO strap on it, or just wear your Apple Watch. I wear my Apple Watch in the pool. I've even worn it in the ocean. I don't know, it's totally fine, but Apple Watch is more expensive, but it's also a little bit easier to replace because the SKX is discontinued. This one is not discontinued though. Second thing is going to be this screw down crown. So to set the time, you actually have to unscrew it, and then you can set the time. But to put this back in, you have to actually push and turn so that it catches. Not a big deal, but it is something that is a little bit, I've missed catching this before, and it just kind of got a little bit frustrating. But this is the reason why this watch is rated at more water resistance than the Seiko 5 watch, the new Seiko 5 watch. So kind of a pro and con here. Is it a big deal? No, it's not really a big deal. Both of these watches have this crown at the 4 o'clock position, so that if you actually go ahead and put them on, it's not going to dig in. The crown's not going to dig right into your wrist if you happen to be doing push-ups wearing your watch. It's nice that they relocated that crown to the 4 o'clock position, not the 3 o'clock position, so it doesn't stab you as bad. And now the third difference between the SKX and the Seiko 5 dive watch is the movements. So this one has the, I think it's 7S26 is what it's called. This one has a 4R36. I'm not really too sure exactly the pros and cons of each of them. I think I should probably hold this one right side up. This one hasn't really given me any issues. I did get a little bit frustrated with it because when I was wearing this one all the time, it lost 5 minutes a week and it was a little bit frustrating. But now because I don't, I'll wear it for a few days and then I'll wear my Apple Watch for a few days. I'm always setting the time anyway, so it hasn't been a big deal for me. I'd imagine that the newer movement may keep time better, although reading about this stuff years ago, if the watch keeps time and it only loses 5 minutes a week, that's actually pretty good. Now I mentioned that you could see the movement in the back. That's just something that's pretty nice. Kind of hard for me to show you because yeah, that's just something pretty nice. You could actually see the movement. So if people ask you how does the watch keep time, you could actually show them, hey, check it out, this thing, that little blade, that little thing right there just kind of spins around and it charges the spring. So it's actually a really nice little neat feature that they added. Now with that new movement, I don't really know if this matters too much to me, but you could actually, if you pull the crown out, the second hand stops. So you can, if you really wanted to match this up to the second, you could actually take like an Apple Watch, or you could take a real watch and just look at, okay, say it's 30 seconds. You could actually wait for the second hand to pause right there, and then when you plug it back in, when you push the crown back in, you're able to just let it go. So that's called hacking. Is it a big deal to me? No, it's not. I'm not really looking at these watches for the most accurate time. I usually set them a couple minutes early anyway, and I also don't set the date on my regular watches either, or I should say just the one regular watch that I wear all the time if I'm not wearing my Apple Watch. But this is a nice, neat little feature. It's also really nice to just take the crown out. You're able to set the time, push the crown back in. You don't have to sit there and actually make sure, okay, it caught, okay, it didn't catch the threads. It's not actually spring loaded. But the sacrifice with that crown is, since it's not a screw down crown, you're not going to be able to take this one in the deep depths of the ocean. That's up to you if you actually want to do that. I think here in the year 2023, you probably aren't going to want to use a watch like this anyway. There are actually probably much better pieces of equipment that you can use if you're out there scuba diving. So the SKX009 is a actual dive watch. This is more of just like a dive style watch. Does it matter to you? It probably doesn't. I don't think any one of us that are wearing these watches are actually diving. And like I said, if we are, we're using some sort of a computerized dive watch on our wrist. As far as how it wears, it actually feels pretty lightweight. It feels pretty good. I did go ahead and just adjust it so that it fits me, but really enjoy the color. Again, it's the same color as my SKX009. It's just got that nicer blue background right there. So a little bit more of a dressier option with no tick marks on the blue part of the face and the strap code style or the oyster style bracelet, whereas the SKX009 actually has those tick marks on the blue part of the dial, and it also comes with that Jubilee, but that Jubilee and that extra detail on the SKX I think actually matches really well. So is there a big difference between the SKX009 and the Seiko 5? Is this a downgrade? It really depends on who you ask. My opinion, no, it's not a downgrade. If anything, I appreciate the fact that it's going to be easier to set the time with that standard crown, not that screw down crown. That screw down crown on the SKX has actually caused a bit more of an inconvenience than anything else for me, because I'm not taking this watch in the water at all. I don't want to lose this watch. Over 200 bucks, I'd rather keep that money in my pocket and just use my Apple Watch, or just get a cheaper watch, 50 bucks, Casio, whatever, and then go swim in that one. So that is really the only downgrade I can see, is the water resistance is not there. You don't get that detail, so it's not that classic Seiko SKX look. However, it's close enough. I'm not really a fan of saying, oh, it's discontinued, I have to have it, because at the end of the day, these are just items, and if something's discontinued, that means it's a rare item. You shouldn't be going too far out of your way for a material item. So I like the SKX009. If I lost it tomorrow, I'd be totally happy with the Seiko 5 SKX look-alike model. It's basically the same thing. I just really like the dive watch face. I like the blue and red Pepsi dial, really enjoy it. I like the metal bracelet style. It matches with just about everything. It is the most versatile. So I would be totally satisfied with this watch. I think you'll be satisfied as well, unless you're a watch snob. I'm not a watch snob. If you're a watch snob, you're probably not even looking at these Seikos anyway. You're probably looking at some of the more premium options out there. Now, one thing that I can't test, because this one is brand new, I just took it out of the box, is the longevity of the new watch versus the old watch. What I could say is this watch, very robust. Obviously, I've never broken the face. I did get a scratch in the face. I don't know if the camera is going to pick up on it, but there's a little bit of a scratch right up here. You know, after having something for a couple of years, stuff like that is going to happen. It's a tool. It doesn't really detract from any of the look of the watch, so totally fine with it. I've also got some of the paint chipping away over here. Yeah, right over there. The paint is chipping away on this one. But this one, for $250 that I paid for it 4 or 5 years ago, this one has held up great. I can't tell if this one is going to hold up as good as this one. And a lot of times when you pay more money for goods or for items or for basically material items, at the first glance, like the first day, first month, it's going to be just the same. But wear it for about a year, wear it or use it for about a year, 2 years, 5 years. As time goes on, you're going to be able to see that the more expensive product, the quality product, is actually going to age a lot better than the cheaper option. Now, this one used to be $200. This one retails for $295, so this one's $300. The quality's probably the same. They're probably going to age the same. But I can't say that. All I can say is I'd be totally satisfied with this one if I didn't have the SKX009. So if you like the look of this one, the Pepsi dial, and you're in the market, don't pay a lot of money for the Seiko SKX009 unless you can find one for under 500 bucks used. I wouldn't do that, but it's up to you if you want to. For me, I'd rather get a brand new Seiko 5 Pepsi dial with this one And Seiko also has a lot more options. They have all blue with the blue NATO strap if you want something more casual, more lightweight. They've got black, they've got green, they've got a whole bunch of different options. I prefer to keep it simple. Either the Pepsi dial, the dark blue, all blue, or the black is probably what I would pick. And if I was going to have more than one of the Seiko 5s, I would probably just first start off with the bracelet style, and then I would get something with a NATO strap. That way I could actually wear it in the water without worrying about it dropping and then losing it, and then I'm out $200 or $300. So Seiko SKX009 Seiko 5 watch is its replacement. This has been the first look. Overall, I'm pretty impressed with it. I'm satisfied with it. I think you will be too. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I appreciate every single one of you watching, commenting, and subscribing. Reminder to subscribe if you like what you see. Consider subscribing. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.